here on the MMAjunkie Radio show. This is the pre-show, though. Let you know a little bit about what's going on today. Chase from Tough Prince. He's going to
be in song in Korean. It's absolutely.
Korean?
I'm not Korean.
Oh, okay.
I'm not Korean, but I can sing Amin. He's Korean.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Just save this for the air.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if you'd have enough time to take Moonlight $250 off a $50 bet that he thought he had just parked. You don't know what happened?
I swear to you, I don't.
Envelopes that the presenters come out, and I think there was just a mix-up. Was telling the truth, didn't, because Melania with the wife.
I wouldn't be mad.
I don't even know their names. It's Ivanka.
Melania and Ivanka. He said if we were.
That was bizarre. I can think of off the top. In March of 2016, he was already willing to fight Dos Anjos. A problem with it because they're like, well, defend featherweight at least once and then worry about that. I gave him a pass because
McGregor, who do you want to come out of the Ferguson? If you're GSP, who do you want to see come
I
out
want
of
Thompson to win. I think I can take down Thompson and control him. I think Woodley or then
what about the
Thompson's
whole
volume.
friendship thing?
Over it? Oh, the TriStar? Well, they can knock him out instantly.
Let's take this break and if you're GSP, Magomedov,
say things in this, and they get paid to be lame. Here are Gorgeous George and Goes.
Got the type of voice. Over the weekend, you lost $300K.
Last minute, and that's going to the star, not any individual.
And I think some of it just become just
When they announced it, didn't they say as a headliner? So yeah, I guess he did take it
so
away.
it's not Cub versus Artem Lobov.
No, now they're saying George Masvidal versus.
Can you?
He was on the show because he guy that probably isn't just there yet.
Hosts, Gorgeous George and
some of the wagering that can be rooting for me. I didn't get one text that said, "Hey,
you never came out and said you did it. You just told me.
Okay, and none of them
That couldn't have
rooted.
been hard to
Nobody.
figure
King
of their UFC 200 encounter that ended. How you doing?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing? The holidays with the
Once you start a camp,
Cluster of guys.
title shot, then I'll definitely was comfortable there. It was good fighting it. But besides the weigh-in to happen, so chances that it was, but it could. Who wouldn't? I'd love to go see where my father grew up.
right? Well, here's why I asked. Cozumel, which is right off.
Trades a wet feet,
And
dry
the
feet.
wet foot, dry foot.
Awful.
Yeah, for Cubans. That really is to
Did pull out. Who do they call?
Yeah, no.
I have Aldo pulled out. I think Frankie may get it because Frankie hasn't fought.
because
Holloway. That's the
Holloway,
only
yeah.
reason. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing to do with wins or losses because these are all great fighters, and they've all been in some great fights with each other. The only advantage, I think.
Tell your boss to reschedule that meeting. It's time for more MMA Junkie Radio with
Shirt in the car, the weight cut. So that was cool. By the way, this is shirt design. Right? Which is kind of a lot of people with him. He usually has 5 or 6 guys that are like always with him, and he's always trying to do things with them. I think that's, and also he's really in demand.
Okay.
How do you feel about Conor? I know a lot of people think he's a superstar, but is he that like role model type guy that you would want? You know, like when you're growing up and you're saying, as a father, you're telling your kids, you know, look at this guy, he's great. Like, is he that guy?
I don't think he's a role model for the average person. However, if I had a son or a daughter that was going into mixed martial arts or any athletic endeavor, I would say follow this guy, be seen, be noticed, because a lot of people are doing amazing work in their garages and they're doing amazing work on, they're just not being noticed because they're not interesting. And I would say take pieces from what he's doing. And I think his gimmick, or it might be the real thing, it's hard to say, is, you know, the executive life, the money, the arrogance, that, right? I wouldn't necessarily take that, but if that's what gets you noticed and gets you paid, go for it. Just make sure that you draw a hard line between what's real and who you actually are as a person, because the reality is that everyone who meets Conor McGregor is going to come and assume that that's who he is. And you have to be okay with the character that you create, because that's what you have to live with.
I'm trying to figure out. I know people our age are down with him, and we think he's funny, but I don't know. I don't see very many like kids or junior high kids going, that Conor guy. I mean, they still kind of seem like LeBron James, that sort of thing, you know? Where does he fall under that?
Good question. You're right. I guess it's not often enough that he fights. And so, therefore,
And also,
you see LeBron 82 times a year, plus playoff games, plus if he's involved in the U.S. men's World
Right.
Championships, Olympics,
but he's also dunking a
commercials,
basketball.
Nike, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think Conor goes away. He fights, and he's the man for about 2 weeks before, maybe the week after, and then all of a sudden there's a tail off. And unless he's presented with an opportunity to endorse the product or whatever.
I just remember when I was a kid and you would go to school, if someone showed up with like a Jordan jersey, Magic, like that was cool. I just don't know what people will say if you show up wearing like a Conor McGregor Reebok kit. Is that like something that's awesome, or are people kind of like, we kind of know that guy, but we kind of don't?
You know, it's a different product, though, because, you know, basketball, like, LeBron's a kid's product. Even though I actually loathe LeBron, and I'm a Miami Heat fan, I think he said some things that just turned me off about him. But Conor McGregor's not a kid's product. He's a fighter. He's a loudmouth. He is an outspoken dude. And he's arrogant. And those are all things that you don't necessarily want to expose your kid to. At least in
But don't you do it for WWE? Like, aren't there kids running around with like
But
The
it's
Rock
but
and-
it's a cartoon. But that's
like
too
Stone
inside a
Cold?
response.
How different?
Whenever his height was, you know, the
Mhm.
run that he had, you get it for a guy where, like, roots of fight, Muhammad Ali. Oh, yeah, he was the man. You know, you can wear that anywhere. But it took him how many years to become the greatest or whatever. But in their as they're fighting, you don't see much of that. I don't know. Yeah. We still need to take one more break. We better take it right now. You're listening to MMAjunkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. We have Chase Kobrin in the house. He's from Tough Prince. So we're just shooting the shit like three old dudes here in Vegas, like we do when we're off air. So
Yeah,
a ton of fun having
more or
you here,
less.
Chase. And we'll be right back after this break.
Here are my life coaches. Everything I've done has been under their strict supervision. Here are George's Goes and George.
All right, we're back. Just want to give you a preview on tomorrow's show. We'll be joined by Ensign Anyway. He will be co-hosting the show with us. On Wednesday, we'll be joined by Amanda Cooper and Mersad Bektik. They both fight at UFC 209 on Saturday. On Thursday, our co-host will be Jade Bryce, former Bellator ring card girl. Michael Chandler, their lightweight champion, will also join us in the studio. And then we'll talk to Lando Venata and Darren Elkins, both fighting at UFC 209. Friday's show, we'll have Bibiano Fernandez and Lauren Mack from One Championship. They'll co-host the show. We'll also be joined by UFC Hall of Famer, former interim heavyweight champion Antonio. They're not officially locked in just yet. You want to finish out your list there, Chase?
Yeah, just to go ahead and let the listeners know what you just basically said. I'm going to condense it. He's saying the show is going to get way better guest-wise from this point forward, is I think what I heard.
No,
right?
I was just giving them a preview of what's happening later in the week.
Gotcha. I had one more note on my phone, and it was this. I was going to try to start a trend today, and it was going to be really awkward because I think we might have gotten weight cut Tony anyway, who probably wouldn't have played along with it. But check this out. One of the very first times I was on the show, you guys put me on the headset interviewing Joanna. And I was trying to satisfy my inner child by trying to get her to compare the Polish sausage versus the American sausage, which is a kind of a reference to wieners, right? I wanted her to talk wieners. Then, next episode, I got on and I talked to Derek Lewis, and we talked about the fact that he's a fraud and doesn't masturbate. Do you remember this?
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah.
So both of these people went on to, one became the champion, the reigning champ. The other one's on his way up and is potentially could become the champion in the future.
Correct.
I was going to offer Tony Ferguson the opportunity to talk about a wiener in some form because that could potentially lead to good things. What do you guys think?
I think we dodged the bullet.
It's a good thing Tony didn't show.
Yeah, well, I was going to feel
that
it
may
out.
have been his last time on MMAjunkie Radio.
Potentially. I was going to feel the whole thing out, not the wiener, but like the concept.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was there, I was going to give him the opportunity to better himself as a fighter. If it wasn't there, I wasn't going to give it to him. So
what if you asked him the question? He's sitting here, and then he looks at you, and then he looks at us two, and he goes, "So how you guys doing?" He doesn't even answer you.
Okay, you know it's funny.
You just sit there and take it and just quietly giggle off into the sunset, or do you try and like get back at him?
I
later?
would have looked at the two of you. It's funny. Right when I sat down today, Goes said, "So are you nervous?" And I said, "No, I'm not nervous. This is fun. I talk MMA. I talk with my friends. Like that's cool. I do that all the time. The only thing that makes me nervous is getting you guys in trouble. Like that was just potentially." Yeah, well, that's the way I feel. I'm always worried about getting a desk all by itself.
Yeah.
Like the war phone.
Uh-huh.
Like
and then
Batman, the red phone.
Yeah, it was red in my
brain.
brain.
Are you scared of trouble anymore?
Yeah.
Are you?
Uh-huh.
Really? I'm starting to not sweat it as much. And the reason is because we're going to be and they go to fire me. I think Goes, Dan Stupp, or whoever would come to and go, hold on a second. That slipped, or he didn't mean that. You go ahead and rewind the other 2,499 shows, or go ahead and recap, or look at the other 9 years plus shows that he did. The dude's a good guy. He does his job, and that's that. That was a slip. But if this was like year one, then I'd be like, I guess.
How long has Brent Musburger been around?
Yeah.
And he fucked up one time, and
But
they told him, "How about you go start a vacation?"
Well, he also had a chance to rectify, and he made it even worse. And plus, he's like 114. At some point, you got to retire.
That's true, but here, always keep this in mind. Your body of work does count for something. But whether you're a racist or not a racist, or a bigot or not a bigot, you can still say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And that's really important. Context
Well, I don't
is important.
sweat that because I won't say the wrong thing.
Oh, you might. You might. I've said the wrong thing so many times, I just don't have a mic in front of my mouth.
I know. I just jinxed myself. Where's Wood? Is this Wood?
I
All
don't
right,
think
we're out
so.
of here. Thanks, Chase,
Thank
for
you.
co-hosting today's show. And thank you to Ricardo Lamas for his time. Victoria, you were awesome. You knocked it out of the park. Goes, you were stellar. I was fantastic, however. I took it to another level. We'll see you all tomorrow. Until then, be champions.